Mother Nature being much kinder to us on this Saturday afternoon. We bid you greetings from Rioli Family Stadium. Victor Anderson glad you're with us alongside Taylor Stowworthy. We got a couple changes to announce before we get things started. We have a new catcher for Lynn. It'll be number 16, Kylie Dotson. And then we have a new pitcher, number 9, Kaylee Zazali, will take over for Gabriella Lindsay. Of course, Lindsay Taylor, we saw her in both games of the rescheduled doubleheader, got knocked around by Tampa. Not really a surprise. Coach Cassidy Pickett making a change, going with the junior right-hander to resume things on Saturday afternoon.
Definitely, and I think there is a chance we'll see Lindsay active a bit later today for Game 3 of the series. But definitely where it left off stat-wise, Lindsay won't be super happy about this outing, although it had to have been the rain that definitely led to the 6 walks conceded in the circle. But we do get to see Zazali for the first time, and we'll see if Tampa can now capitalize on the new arm as we continue.
Zazali comes in with 2 2/3 innings pitch, give up an unearned run. We reset the situation. Abby Johns on at first. After leading off the bottom of the third with the walk, it'll be Hannah Yetter to the plate. We'll reset the Tampa batting order and the Lynn defense. Yetter tries to pop up the bunt and just goes out of the reach of the new catcher, Kylie Dotson. Tampa's lineup remains the same. Aubrey Zekman leading off. Jenna Newpaper hitting second. Kenna Kreidler at third. Cam Feast at cleanup. Carly Salisbury hitting fifth. Makia Brumble O'Neill hitting sixth. Abby Johns, who's at first base, she's in the 7th spot. Hannah Yetter will be at 8. She's at the plate. Kenzie Reynolds on deck in the 9th slot. Yetter misses that one. Takes that one upstairs. He was up to count a ball on 1 strike. Defensively for Lynn, Olivia Lockhart in left field. Marina Goins in center. And in right field, Annalie Floriano. We'll reset the Lynn infield and the battery in just a second. 1-1 count coming up from Zazali. That bunt gets laid down, kicks off the inside of Yetter's right foot. Foul ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Around the infield for Lynn, Savannah Ellis will be at first. Second base, Kylie Hope. Over at short will be Isabella Riddle. And over at the hot corner, third base, will be Teagan Riley. And as we referenced before we came back on the air, Kylie Dotson taking over for Morgan behind the plate. And Zazali doing the pitching.
Yeah, the only change defensively, that catcher swap. It looks like that Morgan and Lindsay are kind of their own preset battery, but Dotson's a go-to player in the catcher position for most of the other arms on the Lynn staff.
2-2, Jess misses on the outside corner, brings the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Can ask for more beautiful softball weather. Game restarted about 12:53. That one's hit well to right center field. That's going to be a diving catch by Floriano. Saves at least a double and a possible run. Heady play by Floriano, diving head first to Rob Yetter. Would have been a sure 2-bagger.
That was some catch. And, you know, Victor, yesterday you were talking about if Tampa could find space between center and right field, they've usually been pretty spread out in terms of shifting against the Spartans offense. And that was exactly where Abby Johns put it. But what a play to prevent Tampa from going up, because I think there's no shot if that gets by the diving Floriano that Johns doesn't score.
Well, the Reynolds misses high and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Zazali, junior out of Lakeland, Florida, making her 2nd appearance on the season. Pitched 2 2/3 against St. Thomas. Comes in for a strike, brings the count to 2-1. Scott Boswell behind the plate. Robert Kirk, our other umpire, he's stationed right behind Hope between first and second. 1 down, bottom of the third, 4-0 Spartans. And that one again sails a little bit up in the zone, brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Spartans won the opener yesterday, 7-0. Off to an early 4-0 lead when the game got suspended on Friday, and that was upstairs again. And Reynolds draws the walk, and a reset to the top of the order, and Audrey Zekman.
That's a 7th walk for the Tampa Spartans offense in this game. And the first walk they were able to draw today after getting 6 against Lindsay before. In game 1 of the series, they were also able to draw 3 walks as a team. But I'm liking the discipline that Tampa's brought into game 2 of the series against the Fighting Knights.
So here's Zekman. She's reached base already twice, walking a single and a score twice. Segment appears to swing away. Takes that one upstairs. Ball one. Zazali having trouble finding that zone.
Control has been a bit of a question for the Fighting Knights staff in general, but in that one lone relief appearance, Zali did a good job despite.
Tapper over the short, throw to second, and he just get there late. That slight hesitation by Riddle had to wait for Hope to come over to cover. So all Spartans will be safe and load the bases for Jenna Newpaver.
Great hustle there by Reynolds to reach safely, just capitalizing on the defense. But like I mentioned just a second ago, Zazali, despite having 2 walks in her first appearance of the season, was able to keep things scoreless with just 1 run that was unearned coming home.
Lynn brings the infield in and strike one for Jenna Newpaver. Knocked in a run on an RBI single in the second. That gave the Spartans at the time a 3-0 lead. Zazali just misses the corner, brings the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Lynn will try and cut down Johns at the plate. But anything hit hard past that, particularly Hope in second base, can bring home 2. Instead, she flips it the yellow way over Riley, but foul over Tampa head coach Leslie Cantor. Brings the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, if you're in the circle, I think you definitely want to get some weak contact that you could potentially turn 2 with. And even if it's a tough ball to field, maybe not even necessarily getting the out at home, just trying to get the second out of the inning could be a big thing for the Fighting Knights.
Zazali trying to work out of this jam. Ooh, nice looking pitch from the junior righty. Doesn't get the location. Brings the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases full of Spartans. Johns at third, Reynolds at second, Zekman at first. 1 down, bottom of the third, resuming play from yesterday. Flips down 1, now will go off the stream on top of the Tampa dugout on the third base side. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good job protecting from Newpaver. We've really seen that from the top of the order. Zekman and Newpaver really work these long at-bats.
Well, the 2-2 again misses outside. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Zazali trying to avoid walking in a run. Oh, man. Another good-looking pitch. Thought it caught the zone, but instead it's ball 4. And that will force home Johns. So 5-0 Tampa. Bases reloaded for Kenna Kreidler. With that walk, that officially closes the book on Lindsay. She goes 2 innings, 4 hits, 5 runs, 6 walks, 2 strikeouts. Through 67 pitches, 30 of them were strikes. Everything else from this point forward will belong to Zazali. And she's ahead 0-1 to Kreidler. Has 2 walks already today. And we'll add to that total of a base hit through the 5-6 hole. That will bring home Reynolds. Zekman comes up behind her. So Kenna Kreidler adds to the Tampa lead with a 2-run single. And the Spartans jumping on Lynn early. It is 7-0 Spartans.
Kreidler always so patient at the plate, and she found the pitch she wanted from Zazali and takes it into shallow left field. Good hustle in the base path for the Spartans to make it home. Lynn do stay in front of it, so they don't let the runners advance for a double or get to the corners. But this is exactly how Tampa wanted to start the day. After the full count flyout from Yetter, they have gone 4 straight players on base, thanks to 2 hits and 2 walks.
2 hits, 2. And also a fielder's choice as well in that process. And now they'll bring to the plate Cam Feast. Up high for ball 1. They will credit Zekman with the infield single on that ball hit sharply over to Riddle at short. Feast grounded out and struck out. Takes that one on the outside half. Gets for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Still 1 down in the bottom of the third. Tampa's picking up right where they left off from yesterday. Up 7-0 on the new pitcher, Kaylee Zazali. Down in the side of the knees. Brings the count to 2-1.
It's a brand new day for Cam Feast as well. Was quiet to start game 2 after really going off with 2 hits in game 1. before getting subbed early after an awkward slide into second.
That one hit off the left shin of Zazali, and she is down on the. Oh man, we heard that all the way up here. And Zazali is down on her back and writhing in pain, and rightfully so. Man, oh man. You see the Lynn trainer and assistant coach Noel McGuire going over to have a chat. And Coach Cassidy Pickett rightfully concerned with that hot shot came right back up the middle to off Zali's left shin. Hopefully it's just a bruise and nothing more serious than that, but that came right off the bat of fees like a rocket.
It's why being in the circle is always so dangerous, especially with the distances shortened here in the sport of softball. Where baseball, you've got at least a couple extra feet where the ball can slow down a little bit, but, pitchers always wear the cage on the mask just because in case of a line drive that is elevated. Thankfully, it was only down on the ground from Feast, but even if it's only a bruise, that is going to sting like crazy for Cesale, so I really hope she's all right.
Mariana Mascaza, the assistant athletic trainer for Lynn's softball, checking her out, and also assistant coach Noel Scotty, see Cassidy Pickett, and Lynn's going to have to make a change. It looks like Ellis will have to come from first base, and fortunately, Cesale is back up, but you can see, fortunately, she's able to put a little bit of pressure on that left shin, and that's certainly good to see. So as we anticipated, Ellis will come on over from first base to take over for Cesale. And I think the question will be, Tyler, who will be over at first base for Lynn?
I think they're going to do the same change they did yesterday. Floriano down to first with Ellis in the circle, and they bring out the speedy player off the bench. Rigo actually looks like will be out in right field.
So Rigo will be in right field. Ellis will go over from first base to the circle, and Floriano, as Tyler mentioned, will come from right field to play first base. So the Lynn defense will be Lockhart, Goins, and Rigo in the outfield left to right. Floriano will be at first with Hope, Riddle, and Raleigh routing out the infield second, short, and third respectively. Dotson will be back behind the plate catching for Ellis. So you talk about a worst-case scenario for Lynn resuming this game after yesterday getting suspended. You give up 3 runs, and then your pitcher who came in relief picks up the first out and gets smoked by a line drive off of Cam Feast.
Yeah, usually you say figuratively that a pitcher gets knocked out of the game, but
yeah, that is literally getting knocked out.
And that's also going to hurt for Lynn because you'd imagine that you wanted to probably save Ellis for the second game. This would have been a great low-leverage outing for Cesale to go the rest of the way against the Spartans and get some experience. But now there will be a little more pressure on that Lynn pitching staff for Game 3, which I'd imagine Lindsay does get the start for. So that'll actually be Lindsay's third start of the weekend.
And I'll be intrigued to see what the lineup looks for Lynn in this particular change as well, because Rigo had not been in the lineup. Rigo had been in the lineup as a designated player. So she's going to be flipping over to right field with Floriano going over to first. And we got the changes made with Scott Boswell giving a thumbs up to the box. So bases still loaded, still one out. Here's Carly Salisbury. Salisbury's already knocked in 2 RBI single in the first. Bases loaded, walk in the second. Takes that one in for a called strike, 0-1.
Ellis was pretty effective out of the bullpen in Game 1 of the series. Struck out a batter and only gave up 1 hit in 2 clean innings.
Wow, but didn't have much traffic to worry about when she came in Game 1 of the series.
That is not the case today.
Newpaper at third, Kryler at second, Feast at first, 7-0 Tampa. We're still in the bottom of the third, still and only 1 out. Up the elevator, 2 balls and a strike.
I do find it interesting that Lynn do put Rigo out in right field. They trust her defense, and she has a good arm, being also a pitcher in the circle. But when you have a pitcher that's at the plate, you do have that free designated fielder position where you could put a defensive specialist in.
Swing and a miss. By Salisbury brings the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Salisbury trying to extend the Tampa lead. Infield in for Lynn. And can't lay off that wicked changeup from Ellis, and Salisbury goes down on strikes, 2 down.
Yeah, just fell completely away from the plate. And in that position, you don't know if it's going to float right down the middle, so you got to give a swing at it. But so hard to keep up with. That is a beautiful strike 3 pitch.
Here's Rumble O'Neal. Takes ball 1. She walked and has popped out to second. Her 2 trips to the plate. Hugh Paper at third, Kryler at second, Feast at first. Rumble O'Neal takes the strike 1-1. 7-0 Tampa, bottom of the third. Victor Anderson, Tyler Stowworthy. Glad that you're with us on this Saturday afternoon. Resuming play from yesterday's suspended second game in this 3-game set. 2-1.
It's kind of funny. The game was called for a rain delay and then eventually postponed to tomorrow at 4:52 p.m. yesterday. It resumed at 12:52 p.m. today.
So nearly 18 hours between, exactly 18 hours between pitches, and the Spartans almost as if suspended their offensive production and hit the unpause button and already cracked home 3 runs. Rumble O'Neal, just foul over Riley at third base.
Obviously, you're always running with the bases loaded, but especially so with 2 outs. So very dangerous if a hit like that can get down. Would have definitely brought Tampa's lead up by 1, and depending if Lockhart could have gotten there quickly, maybe by 2.
Deuces wild to Tampa's 22, bases full. This time shines a breaking ball. Nice stop. It's stopped by Riley and gets the throw over to first and Floriano to prevent Dave Run from scoring and end the inning. But the Spartans score 3 runs on 2 hits. They lead the bases loaded for the second consecutive inning. But it's all Spartans here on this Saturday afternoon. 7-0 Tampa at the 3 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Top of the 4th inning here at Naomi Family Stadium. Tampa with all the control, up 7-0. Has to pick up where they left off in game number 2. Victor Anderson, Taylor Stowworthy, glad that you're back with us here on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 3, 4, 5 due up for the Friday Nights of Lynn. Kylie Hope, Tegan Riley, and Savannah Ellis. And back to work, the freshman righty, Holly Steffes. Steffes, who had a strong 3 innings before Mother Nature intervened. Only allowed 2 two-out singles, and that was all on 45 pitches, 30 of which were called strikes. The woman who has one of those 2 singles at the plate in Hope takes low and inside ball 1. Tampa's defense remains the same. John, Zekman, and Feast the outfield left to right. Salisbury, Yetter, Reynolds, Dupaver the infield first to third, with Kryler doing the catching for the freshman Steffes. Gavins in for a strike, brings the count to square, a ball and a strike.
We might see some later changes for the Spartans like they did in Game 1 of the series, but for now, they're bringing back the same 9 at the plate and their 1B ace in the circle in Steffes.
And she certainly pitched like that as Emma will land in the Lynn bullpen outside the right field side, makes the count a ball and 2 strikes.
She had a really good debut against Christian Oklahoma, or Oklahoma Christian, but also really had a solid weekend at the Daytona State Invitational. Well, not Daytona State, but the Invitational
Embry-Riddle.
at Embry-Riddle in Daytona, where she was able to really showcase her stuff.
Flip to right. Feast is there. Makes the catch one now. Now, before, of course, I don't know if you know about this, Tyler, but before Embry-Riddle built their beautiful stadium, which is one of the best in the conference, they actually played their games the first couple of seasons at Daytona State College.
Yeah, Daytona State College is such a beautiful campus right by Halifax Health, and that softball field isn't too different from Tampa with a pretty deep outfield. The wall is a little bit shorter, though.
So one down for Tegan Riley. Riley popped out to get her to end the first. It goes after that first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Lynn's lineup remains the same. Lockhart, Floriano, Hope, 1, 2, 3. Riley, Ellis, Goins, 4 through 6. Rigo, Morgan, and Riddle, 7, 8, 9. For head coach Cassie Pickett. 0-1 swung through a miss and steps ahead 0-2. And we saw that a lot from the freshman yesterday, jumping early against these Lynn hitters. And that's how she's been able to record 5 strikeouts and now 3 1/3 in the circle. The 0-2. Gets underneath that one. And it'll be another pop out to second base and Yetter, 2 down. So 2 down for Lynn in the 4th, and it'll bring up Savannah Ellis.
It's cool for Lynn. They have multiple players that are two-way players in terms of being in the circle and at the plate. You look at Ellis, who's been the most active of those players. But there was also 2 1/3 innings from Kylie Hope earlier.
Popped up again, and this time it'll be Reynolds who'll call up Yetter. And Steffes a quick 1, 2, 3 frame to get the Spartan bats back on track. 3.5 in the books. Spartans up 7-0 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Bottom of the 4th we go on a sunny Saturday afternoon in the Sunshine State Conference. 7-0 lead for the Tampa Spartans. Bottom third of the order, due up once again to lead things off. John, Jeter, and Reynolds. As they'll take on Ellis. That was in for a call strike. Victor Anderson, Taylor Storeworthy. Glad that you're with us on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 7 runs across for Tampa, 6 hits, no errors. 0-2 and 0 for Lynn. And Johns is down, no balls and 2 strikes. Johns led off the bottom of the 3rd with a walk yesterday before Mother Nature put a pause on the proceedings. Inside, good-looking pitch from Ellis, and Johns gets frozen and rung up for out number 1.
Obviously, she's going to have a bit of a longer outing in this game, but I wonder if how effective she has been. Maybe you move to Ellis to start game 3 in the circle if you're the Fighting Knights.
We got a pinch hitter coming on for Tampa. It'll be Hallie Haggis. Haggis, 5'10", freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina, takes that outside for ball 1. So Haggis getting a chance, hitting in a number 8 spot for Hannah Yetter, and she will take advantage of that inside the left field line. And Haggis with the base hit. And for Haggis, that is her first career hit as a Tampa Spartan.
Wonder if they'll save that softball for her. That is a really clean hit the other way. And obviously, it doesn't have a lot of power, but it's perfectly placed in no man's land on the corner of the infield and foul line.
So now we'll have another pinch hitter for Kinsey Reynolds. It'll be Kelsey Winters. Local product from Wesley Chapel. Her second season with the Spartans after transferring in from the University of Iowa. Allen takes up ball one.
It looks like they'll be having Winters swing away. She's also still looking for her first hit of the season, although she had a handful last season during her first year with the Spartans.
Snap throw over back to first by Dodson, and Haggis slides back in the tag. Last year, Winters went 9 for 63, knocked in 10 in her redshirt sophomore campaign. 2 balls, 1 strike to Winters, pinch hitting in a 9 spot for Kinsey Reynolds. This is away, and Winters is ahead, 3 balls and a strike. Savannah Ellis in the circle for Lynn, and Winters will take the walk, and will turn over the lineup back to Aubrey Zekman. He'll be able to check that. He'll be a pinch hitter in this side for Zekman. Is going to be Lennox Ulrich. And looks like we'll see a pinch runner as well. That's going to be Reynolds re-entering the game to pinch run for Winters after she draws the walk. And as we reference, Lennox Ulrich will pinch hit. Will pinch hit at the top of the order for Aubrey Zekman.
My question will be whether they have Ulrich also kind of swing away or maybe try to lay down a bunt to advance the runners. Tough call to make with 1 out, but Ulrich is pretty speedy as well, so that might be something they look at doing.
She does get the green light from Coach Cantor. Hits that one off the screen, almost caught one of our awesome camera people down below on the third base side. Brings the count to 0-2. Ulrich out of Plant City. Was a 2-time district champion. That one sails up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ulrich 2 of 7 on the season. And we'll add that to that total, and somehow doesn't clip the foot of Haggis. And how about this 8-9-1 part of the order? 3 straight pinch hitters. They all get on base.
That's exactly what you want if you're Tampa. You know, you're getting some players that are hungry for a chance to shine, an opportunity, and they all deliver. A well-worked walk by Winters, first hit of her career for Haggis, and Ulrich also singles as well. That is not her first hit, though. She's had 2 on the season.
So she's down 3 for 8. Here comes Newpaper. Takes ball 1. Infield playing in for Lynn. Outfield, Lockhart and Goins playing normal depth. Rigo playing a little shallow, but they're giving her plenty of room in right center field, which has kind of been the... Oh, and almost getting picked off at third was Haggis. That's kind of been the game plan defensively for Lynn against these Tampa lefties. That was down and inside. 2 balls, no strikes.
They're definitely hoping that Newpaver slaps it down to that third base side.
Late call strike from Scott Boswell brings it to 3-1.
They know that Newpaver is a little more of a slap hitter, similar to Zekman leading off the Spartans.
She swings on the 3-1. She does, and just inside, no foul. Started fair, and then somehow avoided the right foot of Haggis, and just spun foul past Riley.
It's a good thing for Riley that she didn't knock it down, because if she did, I'm pretty sure that would be fair, and there wouldn't have been time for an out at home or first.
Full count to Newpaper. Goes after that one to left. I will drop down, and I'll get that apron across. So again, with the outfield playing back, Newpaper drops it just in front of Lockhart to bring home Haggis and makes it an 8-0 Spartan lead. So Newpaper now 2 for 2, 3 runs knocked in for the freshman. Here comes Kryler. Takes a drop, takes a breaking ball for strike one.
Kreidler could have went yard on that slow pitch, but wanted to see what Ellis was opening the at-bat with.
Ellis is 0-1. Same pitch, a little bit more outside, 1-1.
And that's also the reason why she laid off the first one. It's a great changeup and drop ball combo out of Ellis. We saw the drop ball retire in the previous inning, Salisbury.
And again, drops it a little bit low right in front of Dotson. 2 balls and a strike. Kryler knocked in 2 on a single due to right side. Back in that third inning when the game resumed earlier today. 8-0 Spartans, bases loaded, bottom 4. And Kryler's ahead 3-1. Reynolds at third. Ulrich at second. Newpaper at first. And Kryler will flip one over Riddle. They'll bring home at least 2 more. As Reynolds and Ulrich will score standing up. 4 RBI day for Kenneth Kreidler, and the Spartans extend their lead to 10-0.
Pretty much a copy and paste base hit there for Kenneth Kreidler. Did the exact same thing with the bases loaded in her previous at-bat, and it will be Joey Trawick coming back in to replace Cam Feast. This time, no injury concern. They're just getting Trawick a chance at the plate.
So Trawick will appear as a pinch hitter for the second consecutive game, as Coach Cantor continues to empty her bench with the game well in hand.
By the way, it's the first time Tampa's hit double digits on offense this season, the first time they've scored 10 runs.
Trawick takes that one upstairs and away, ball 1. And Tyler, when we came on the air yesterday, we kind of referenced the home stretch coming up for Tampa and the ability to kind of get their team on all 3 phases properly aligned, and they've done that right here. Infield fly rule. So Trawick will officially be retired. Riddle catches to pop up, but the infield fly rule was called. So 2 down. And it'll bring up Carly Salisbury.
I will say, it is a lot of positives so far for the Spartans. They've been dominant in the circle, very good at the plate, but they have not been as clutch as the scoreline would suggest. They have left the bases loaded in the last 2 innings and have surrendered 8 runners on the base path today, and it was clutch hitting and converting with runners in scoring position was something Coach Cantor wanted to see out of the Spartans. Now, they're scoring a lot, but they could have been scoring even more, and if Lynn was doing better on offense, it could be a more tightly contested game. So I know Tampa would love to see Salisbury deliver a clutch base hit right here after a tough bases-loaded strikeout as the first opponent for Ellis.
First and second with 2 out. She hits that one well to left, but Lockhart tracks back, and that one goes past her glove, goes out the bottom of the fence. That will bring home Newpaper. Kryler right behind her. A 2-run double for Carly Salisbury, and the hit parade continues for the Spartans. It is now 12-0 Tampa.
Finally, Salisbury delivers a huge base hit. We haven't seen a home run here at home stadium yet for the Spartans, but that is one that in 90% of collegiate ballparks clears the fences comfortably. But it is the valley out in left, right, and center that keeps it in the confines of Namoli Family Stadium. Still, I don't think there will be a big complaint out of Salisbury, a 2-run double.
Hey, she'll take it. So she, along with Kenneth Kryler, each with 4 runs knocked in. Here's Bumble O'Neill as the Spartans bat around for the second consecutive inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. All Spartans. And Bumble O'Neill will keep the 2-out rally going, and now she'll be running for a while as it goes underneath Lockhart's glove. Salisbury scores easily. Bumble O'Neill will get the stop sign from Coach Cantor at third. I thought she was going to get waved around, but Coach Cantor will settle for the RBI triple instead, and we'll see another pinch hitter for Tampa. That'll be Bella Campbell, the freshman out of Waco. She'll hit in Abby John's slide in the order.
Yeah, I think it was the right call there not to send the runner home. Obviously, would have loved to try for an inside the Parker, or maybe it would get called a double with the error or whatever. But the relay from left was actually pretty well thrown, and I think they might have been able to get Brumbo O'Neal at the plate. So she'll just be able to satisfy with a triple, and if Tampa gets a home run as a team, they'll hit for the cycle. Easier said than done, though. They only have about one out to work with, as is very likely that Steffes will be able to close the door on a run rule fifth inning if she is pretty clean with 3 outs in the circle.
So Bella Campbell looking for her first hit of the season. She comes in 0 for 5. Campbell appeared in yesterday's series opener, went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Soft liner right back to Ellis, and I will end the inning for the Spartans. But Tampa bats around, 6 runs on 6 hits, no errors, 1 left. Spartans 3 outs away from clinching the series against Lynn. They're up 13-0 at the 4 on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. A wholesale of changes for Leslie Cantor with her Spartans up a baker's dozen. So a new pitcher in the circle for the Spartans making her collegiate debut. The freshman from Santa Clarita, California, number 2, Allison Specht. And greets Bria Goins with a pitch up and in. Gets the duck out of the way for ball 1. Bella Campbell will stay in the game. She'll be in left. Joey Treywick will be in right for Cam Feast. Riley Haggis will be over at second. Misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. So Tampa's new defense will be Campbell, Zeckman, and Treywick. The outfield from left to right. Salisbury, Haggis, Reynolds, Newpaper, the infield first to third. Kryler doing the catching for Specht. And Specht falls behind, 3 balls, no strikes.
Specht is also a two-way player, although she's only listed currently as a pitcher for the Spartans. She played at first and in the circle back in high school, a lot similar to how Kate DeSimone was a two-way player for Tampa, beginning her career at first base before transitioning to being one of the team's aces.
Yeah, it's a 4-pitch walk for Maria Goins to start things off in the 5th. Final line for Steffes, she went 4 innings, 2 hits. No walks, 5 strikeouts, an economical 53 pitches, 38 for strikes. And she'll rely on her fellow classmate to combine for the shutout. Regal takes that one up and in for ball 1.
That was an interesting call there on the check swing. It looked like Rigo did go pretty far around, but hey, you can't fight City Hall that time around.
Rigo has one of the 2 Lynn space hits. That was a 2-out single in the second. 2 balls, no strikes. Allison Specht trying to preserve this shutout for Tampa and clinch the series against Lynn. Up 13-0, top of the 5th. Chopped off the play, but foul. Right in front of Kryler, brings the count to 2-1. Expect one of three siblings. Allied Health Major here, U Tampa. 2 balls, 1 strike. 3-1. Sure, someone who's really working hard with pitching coach Jackie Davis. Coach Davis has had a lot to work with this talented but relatively young pitching staff, with the exception of McGinnis. Chop it over to short. Throw was a little bit low. Would have been tough to get out the speedy Rigo. So the Knights with something going with the first 2 aboard. They'll bring up, for the first time in this game, Kylie Dotson.
I hope the fact that it ends with a runner on first does not discount what a great turn and throw that was from Reynolds. A beautiful job fielding the ball and firing it across the diamond. Against about 50% of runners, that would have been out number 1. But good hustle by Rigo to get on board.
So tough to get a lefty batter when you get a ball chopped and it gets that high bounce like you do with these very hard infields. Nice stop behind the plate by Kreidler to keep Goings and Rigo on their respective bases. The 1-1. Nice stop again, and she'll get the go at third, and the tag is no. Somehow Newpaver did not get the tag on Goins, and it'll be second and third for Lynn.
Great job avoiding the tag by Goins. It looked like she hit her, but must have just swam out of the way, Javi Baez style, because she was dead to rights on the way to third base with a quick throw there from Kreidler. Good double steal.
And all of a sudden, it's a 3-1 count. Expecting danger of loading the bases for Isabella Riddle, who's on deck. Chopped her, and they get her out on the tag at third, and they get a double play. How about that for the freshman Jenna Newpaver? Got it on the hot bounce, got the tag on Goins at third, and slipped it over to Salisbury. And just like that, 5-3 double play, 2 down, and Isabella Riddle the final hope for Lynn.
Wow, what a play from Newpaver. You know, I bet she was a bit disappointed in not being able to make the tag after a really good throw from Kreidler. But what a quick reaction, you know. She hasn't just been good at the plate. She has had a really nice glove at the hot corner. Tampa's defense on the left side of the infield has not been a concern at all from Coach Cantor.
Well, prime example of that. You want to make up for not getting that caught stealing at third? Make a play like Newpaper just made right there, 1-1. 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Allison Speck trying to finish off the shutout that was started by Holly Steffens with 4 brilliant innings. This is low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Rigo stands at second for Lynn, 2 down. Rigo has 2 of the 3 Lynn hits this second game of the series. This is up the escalator, brings it to 3-1. Quinn Lockhart on next for Lynn if Riddle can keep this game alive. Speck trying to complete her first inning as a collegiate and have it a 0 on the scoreboard. But instead, she issues her second walk. So now I'll keep things going for the left fielder, Quinn Lockhart. Lockhart has struck out both times she's been to the plate. Tampa with the infield in. Forcing any base in play with 2 down. Speck gets that inside for strike 1.
Lockhart struck out twice today, but is getting to face a rookie now in the circle. Well, already was facing Speck, another freshman in the circle, but someone making their first collegiate debut. Maybe that can be the turn of luck Lockhart's looking for.
Up and inside. Rigo gets a scamper back to second.
Over at the hot corner, you had both Reynolds and Newpaver ready to cover in case of another double steal. In this situation, why not gamble again and try for it if you're Lynn?
Now one fouls on. Hookman caught the face mask of Scott Boswell behind the plate. Brings it down to a ball and 2 strikes. Game resumed 18 hours after it was suspended yesterday, and the Spartans are making quick work of the Fighting Knights. 1-2 pitch. Again, misses his intended target. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was the first time we saw Specht get ahead in the count to start the at-bat. She'll be hoping that it doesn't go full right here, looking for strike 3.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 out. Low ball 3. And he almost, again, they get the double steal, and Reynolds almost with the acrobatic tag of Rigo. That would have been a phenomenal way to end things, but instead, 2 on, 2 out. Second and third, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Specht with the payoff. Almost gets line out of play.
I really do like the acrobatics out of Reynolds on that play. The throw was a bit high behind New Paver, and she makes a nice catch, although that time it was too late to turn and make the tag.
New Paver halfway home. In the left field, and now be caught by the freshman Bella Campbell. And Specht preserves a shutout. Tampa with the 13-0 win and clinched the series versus the Fighting Knights. 13 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Spartans. They leave 9. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Fighting Knights. They strand 4. Holly Steffes picks up the victory. The loss will get tagged with Gabriella Lindsay. And Taylor, we kind of figure going into the resumption of Game 2 that Tampa will want to take advantage with the runner on, and they did exactly that. 3 in the third, and then a half dozen in the fourth to blow things open and end things early in 5.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a really good turnaround at the plate from the Spartans offense. You know, we had 3 instances yesterday where Tampa left them loaded, but that bottom of the fourth, Tampa finally delivered with multiple huge base hits in that spot. 2 down, bases full, and they were able to end the day with just 9 left on the base path. Obviously, Coach Cantor would love that number to be lower, but putting 13 on the board is a really good job on offense, and now Tampa's going to have to bounce back with level footing in about 30 to 40 minutes time.
Game 3 of the series will come over in about 30-35 minutes. We'll have that call for you here in the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Tampa clinches the series. They do so in 5 innings in the resumption of a game that was suspended 18 hours ago. Spartans 13, Fighting Knights nothing. Third game of the series will come on in about 30 minutes. We'll have that action for you here in the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Until then, for Taylor Soworthy, I'm Victor Anderson saying so long from Manoli Family Stadium. Spartans pick up the win. They clinch the series and will go for a sweep in 30 minutes. Until then, we say so long.